St. Peter's Square was filled to capacity, 164 delegations, 70 presidents and prime ministers, and 12 crowned heads, representatives of Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and many other religions, plus 250,000 faithful at the Vatican, 150,000 along the route of the passage, and millions more following the broadcasts. The world said goodbye to Pope Francis. Funeral ceremonies began at 10 a.m. The simple wooden coffin containing Pope Francis's body was carried into St. Peter's Square. The Mass, presided over by Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, Dean of the College of Cardinals, was concelebrated by cardinals, archbishops, bishops, and a host of priests from all corners of the world.
Na tym majestatycznym placu Świętego Piotra.
In this majestic St. Peter's Square, where Pope Francis so often celebrated the Eucharist and presided over great gatherings over the past 12 years, we gathered in prayer at his mortal remains with hearts full of sorrow, but strengthened by the certainty of faith that assures us that human life does not end in the grave, but in the Father's house, in a life of happiness that knows no twilight. St. Peter's Square was filled with the faithful from early morning, the faithful who came to say goodbye to their Father. Well, when I arrived in the square, tears of sadness and joy flowed. I think I really realized that Pope Francis has left us, and at the same time there is joy for all that he has done for the Church. It's important because we are Catholics, and the fact that the Pope is from South America fills us with satisfaction. For us, it's a blessing to be here together with him. The death, mourning, and funeral of Pope Francis were special because they fell during the Easter octave, for the period when the faithful of the Catholic Church solemnly celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the victory of life over death.
Rzekł do niego Jezus: Paś owce moje.
The words of the Gospel according to St. John about the transfer of pastoral authority over the Church to Peter resounded at the Vatican during Mass. Very apt was this choice of the Gospel of today's feast. This description of Peter's second calling in the Gospel according to St. John, shows an opportunity for every sinner. Francis served his church to the very end. He went out to the periphery, to the poor and hardened sinners. This was important to me because my sister got tickets to attend Mass with the Pope, and of course I wanted to be there. But now the Pope is dead. Nothing can be done. Such is life. For my wife and me, it was important to come here. We respect Pope Francis very much and know that such an event does not happen often in our lives. It was very moving for me, this time when we said goodbye to our Holy Father. I have lived here for about a year and attended many Masses, even the last one on Sunday. I saw him very close, and the next day the news of his death was very sad, but I'm happy to be here. Poland was represented not only by the numerous pilgrims from Poland, but above all by the Polish President Andrzej Duda and his wife, Marshal of the Sejm Szymon Hołownia, Deputy Prime Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, or the Polish Ambassador to the Holy See, Adam Kwiatkowski. Seating of heads of state was changed at the last minute, according to the Italian news agency. Donald Trump and his wife went from the third to the first row. Right behind the U.S. president sat Polish President Andrzej Duda. I am passionate about what is happening here, seeing that this is the universal church coming together, not only to mourn the passing of the Holy Father, but full of gratitude for what he lived, for his witness, for what he did. Pope Francis, during his meetings with the faithful, used to ask them to pray for him. Today is the entire church that asks the Pope to intercede with God for them.
Drogi papieżu Franciszku,
Dear Pope Francis, now we ask you to pray for us and to bless the Church from heaven, bless Rome, bless the whole world, as you did this past Sunday from the balcony of this basilica. After the conclusion of Mass in St. Peter's Square and the singing of the Litany of All Saints, The coffin containing Pope Francis's body took its final journey. The Holy Father did not want to be buried in the Vatican grottos in the Basilica, but chose a chapel in Rome's Basilica of Our Lady Major as his eternal resting place while he was still alive. This is the first such situation in 120 years. For Francis, it's a special place with the icon of Our Lady, Salus Populi Romani, or saving of the Roman people. It was there with prayer that he usually began and ended his apostolic journeys. For the Pope as a Jesuit, this is the place where Saint Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, led his first Mass, so I think this also had great significance. The car with the Pope's body drove through the Roman streets to the Basilica of Our Lady Major, amid a crowd of the faithful, paying their respects to him. Francis's burial itself was very modest. Only the Pope's sister and the poor were present. In accordance with the Holy Father's wishes, his tomb will bear only the inscription Franciscus and a reproduction of the cross he wore on his chest. At the very burial of Holy Father Francis are present those who were dearest to him, those to whom he dedicated his pontificate, those to whom he preached the gospel through works of mercy. The faithful will be able to pray at the tomb of Pope Francis starting tomorrow. Also on Sunday at 4 p.m., the cardinals will go to the Basilica of Our Lady Major for prayer. Francis led the Catholic Church for 12 years, guiding it along a common path in mercy. What will remain with us after him is the message of a church that is for everyone, for the poor, and reaching out to the world's peripheries.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.